Hello beautiful and welcome to makeup. I tried something different, I straightened my hair and I can honestly say that I hate it. So don't worry, this won't be happening again. Oh, it's so gross. Hello beautiful and welcome back to Water Cooler Convo Makeup, where I talk about the things that I want me to talk about, where I talk about the things that you want me to talk about, and sometimes we meet in the middle and I talk about the things that we want me to talk about while I do my makeup. And today we are talking about Gabbie Hanna, because for the last few weeks, my recommended on YouTube and also my For You page on TikTok has been bombarded with Gabbie Hanna content. There has not been a day where I have not seen something about her. And for someone like me who barely has any kind of context as to who Gabbie is, except for the fact that she used to go by The Gabbie Show, she was originally on Vine, then transitioned to YouTube. She had one scandal that I know a lot about, being the Kenza Cosmetics scandal, but she has a basket full of others that I have no idea about. She is a musician or a singer, depending on your definition of a musician, and is also an author. Considering that's all I know about her, I have no idea what the fuck is actually going on. So as an outsider, I see a woman who is constantly hated by the internet, and sometimes the internet seems to get actual pleasure from watching her fail and watching her spiral. Whereas someone like Onision, where I have all of the context, I actually understand why there is legitimate delight and amusement in watching his career's destruction. But for Gabbie, I was legitimately sitting there wondering, what could she have possibly done? Until I researched this video. Disclaimer and content warning: in this video I will be discussing The Gabbie Show and my analysis as to why I think the internet hates her, as well as discussing some of the controversies that she has been the focal point of. Even though I do trust all of you, I still need to publicly state that I do not encourage, promote, or endorse any kind of negative, malicious, harassing behavior towards Gabbie specifically, or anyone else that I mention in this video. This video is strictly for analysis and entertainment purposes only, so please do not be giving anyone any kind of negativity on my behalf or because of anything that I have said. We can keep it fun, we can keep it cheeky, we can keep it messy, but let's keep it to this channel, please. Also in this video, I will be discussing the topics of mental health, harassment, bullying, abuse, assault, and rape. If you do find any of these topics possibly triggering, please proceed with caution or consider clicking off of the video altogether, because at the end of the day, I do not want any of my content to jeopardize your health and your well-being. With all of that said and done, let's get onto it. Brace yourselves. I've been working on this video for about a week now, and originally the format and structure I was going to go with for this video was going to be incredibly different. Originally, the structure that I was going to go with for this video was very similar, actually exactly the same as my history of the beauty community's tea scandals and dramas, because I thought the easiest way to figure out why a creator is so hated is to go through all of their controversies and see how bad they were and how justified they are for cancellation. If that thought process makes sense. I've said this before, but even though it makes sense in my noggin, it doesn't mean that I'm communicating it properly. But as I watched Gabbie's videos, as I listened to her podcasts, as I watched videos that center around her controversies, as I read articles centering around her controversies that she has been the focal point of, I became so increasingly uncomfortable with everything that has been happening. And in all honesty, if this video was just me listing all of the history of her controversies, I think it's a cop-out. And if I was to do it, I think I would, in all honesty, be a fraud. So instead, I've decided that I'm going to do an analysis as to why I think the internet hates Gabbie Hanna, with some of the history sprinkled in there for evidence. Because Gabbie has done a lot of awful things, and I'm not saying that she hasn't, but what I'm saying is I think there is a lot more to this situation than promoting a scam brush company that deserves a lot of attention. Gabbie Hanna originally started on the app Vine, RIP, where she gained decent popularity as well as friendships and business relationships, which is always a big key to success in my opinion. But before Vine died, like so many other Viners, Gabbie jumped over to YouTube, where she made primarily personality-based content. Majority, if not all, of Gabbie's original content was based around her and who she is, her thoughts, her opinions, what she does in her day, story times, challenges, and how she succeeds or fails. Gabbie was the focal point of of her channel, which is a great thing to do when it comes to social media, because there's so much longevity in being a personality-based channel, because you as a person are constantly changing and evolving, and your audience gets to watch that and has an investment in you and an investment in your change, in your evolution. Whereas if it's a skill or talent-based channel, people can become disinterested because either they're no longer passionate or have a need for that specific skill or talent. And at first, she seemed to have a lot of support from fans, from the internet, from friends that she had online and collabed with. But unfortunately, with Gabbie's change and evolution, her content and herself was something that her friends, her fans, and the internet just could no longer support. Because as I will discuss in this video, Gabbie is a hypocrite. Video done. Oh, everything I'm about to say can literally boil down to that simple statement. Gabbie Hanna is a hypocrite. Over the years, Gabbie has actually made some incredible points. Some of them I in fact actually share with her, and some of them I've even said on this channel in multiple videos. One of my favorites and most frequent being that your mental health is not an excuse to treat someone like trash. Yes. And another one being that it is okay to call out toxic behavior, which, as I said, I agree with both. But time and time again, we actually see Gabbie use her mental health as an excuse for her awful behavior. And time again, we see her be quite toxic to individuals, to channels, to creators, to fans, both present and former even, which I don't think I have to say. But what do we think my opinion is on being toxic towards your followers, fans, and subscribers? One thing that popped up in my research quite frequently was Gabbie standing up for herself and calling out the toxic BS that the internet was doing to her. Her keywords seem to be manipulative, gaslighting, and toxic. In all of her posts on multiple different platforms, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all of them, the lot. But the issue is that there has been quite a number of occasions where Gabbie has in fact displayed the exact same behavior that she is calling out. The controversy most evident of this actually happened last year with creator Jessie Smiles when Jessie uploaded her video, Gabbie Hanna Needs to Be Stopped. In this video, Jessie actually brings to light some DMs between Gabbie Hanna and a former fan. I say former fan because I'm not too sure, so for the sake of this video, we'll say former fan, but also keep in consideration that they may never have been a former fan. But long story short, this former fan tweeted about how Gabbie Hanna chose a rapist over her then best friend, being Jessie Smiles. Gabbie then DM'd the fan for clarification and evidence to support the claims that she made on Twitter with this post, and then proceeds to give her side of the story, and to clear her name because according to Gabbie, there was no possible evidence that this former fan could have that would back up her claims because this never happened. And then further proceeds to actually unload onto this fan all of her thoughts and opinions of how messed up she thinks the internet has been towards her about this situation. But also in these messages to this former fan, Gabbie actually discloses a lot of personal private information about Jessie's story and about Jessie's mental health. Then after the conversation was seemingly over between Gabbie and this former fan, Gabbie proceeds to send screenshots of personal messages between Gabbie and Jessie to discredit Jessie and everything that she said, and also discredit her character. But also Jessie was quite open about the fact that both her and Gabbie have been quite toxic to each other in the past and made my crazy ex-roommate stories very cryptically in a way where neither mentioned each other's name. But Jessie also gives a side-by-side comparison about how Gabbie intros the video and introduces Jessie, the crazy ex-roommate, and how Jessie introduces the video and Jessie introduces the crazy ex-roommate. And there is quite a contrast. Now, yes, I do understand that there has been quite a lot of time since these videos have been posted, so that means that Gabbie has had a chance to educate herself, to evolve, and to change as a person when it comes to the topic of mental health. In Jessie's videos and intros, the entertainment value seems to be the story itself, not so much the craziness of the roommate, but just the craziness of the story as a whole. The joke seems to be the story, not the person that she is talking about. Whereas compare it to Gabbie, she sits there and says something along the lines of, I may be a crazy bitch, but this bitch is psychotic. And then proceeds to overemphasize this point by crazy expressions and wild voices and really harsh jump cuts, so that we're sitting there being like, wow, that must be a really crazy bitch. Like that kind of situation. So it's just like, just two sides of the coin in presentation. One, the entertainment value is the story. The other, the entertainment value, is how psychotic the roommate was. The joke and the entertainment value was Jessie's mental health. That's the funny part. So in hindsight, incredibly insensitive, but hey, it got Gabbie views and it got her paid. But the thing is the Gabbie that we know and see today is one that preaches about the importance of mental health and understanding it and doing what you need to do to improve your mental health, to learn and do what's good for you so that you get on the correct journey for you to be healthy and for you to be happy. She's mentioned quite a lot in the past and the present about how awful her mental health can be and has been, and how hard it is to struggle every day with it, and how much she has struggled over the years with all of the crap that the internet has tossed at her. She pleads with the internet, she pleads with people to empathize and sympathize with her, and how much she has struggled and how much she is struggling, and to treat her as a human being who has feelings, emotions, and rights and deserves compassion. But where was that for Jessie? And I don't just mean the crazy ex-roommate stories. She publicly told someone private information about Jessie's mental health and her journey to happy. That isn't treating someone with compassion and understanding. Where was that for Jessie? In Gabbie's video addressing the situation, she specifies how scared she's getting that we're getting to this point in the world where things that should be handled privately are getting handled on the internet and getting handled publicly. Yet, private details about Jessie's story, her journey to happiness and healing, was made public by Gabbie to this former fan. I don't think I really have to explain the stupidity of this, but here it is. If someone tells you in private their story and their pain, it's theirs. If they trust you enough to tell you their pain, their story, then you keep that to yourself. It is not for you to tell. It is not for you to share with anyone. But also, what an incredibly inappropriate conversation to have in the first place. My thought is, if you wouldn't have this conversation one-on-one in a private room alone, then don't have it. Don't be using your phone as a shield, because fun fact, you can't hide behind it. And at the time of this conversation, the former fan was actually a minor, Gabbie herself being a 29-year-old woman with a social following of over 5 million. So at the time, and still now, there was an incredible amount of power in Gabbie's presence, but also power in her platform. And after the DMs were leaked, thanks to Jessie Smiles' video, Gabbie was of course heavily called out and criticized for having such an inappropriate conversation with a minor online. And in Gabbie's video responding to all of the criticism and backlash, she used the defense, "I forgot the power in my platform." You know who else forgot the power in their platform? James Charles, David Dobrik. My opinion on the defense of "I forgot the power in my platform" is, if you can't tell, absolute BS. I think it is absolute trash. I think it is absolute BS, and I keep hearing it time and time again, and I'm starting to get frustrated. This one isn't just for Gabbie. I think it's just a stupid defense that people should stop using. I think that people who are highly followed need to sit there and really take into account and consider the presence and the power that they have. Because I don't see traditional celebrities having issues with not understanding the power in their presence and their platform. When I say traditional celebrities, I mean musicians, TVs, movie personalities, those traditional media celebrities. Internet and social media influencers and creators are still celebrities at the end of the day. Their media is just a lot more approachable and relatable than the traditional media. So I'm not saying have a big ego, act like a celebrity because you are all that, you're famous. But what I'm saying is these people have power, these people have power, but these people don't seem to typically get themselves into a situation where they forget this power. These people seem to have a lot of it recently, and I just don't understand. Like, it's not that hard to understand, right? "Oh, I have 5 million followers. I didn't think that it would be so inappropriate. I forgot the power of my platform." I'm sorry, but does everyone have 5 million followers? No? As I said, this one isn't just aimed at Gabbie because there's been other creators who have used the same excuse. I just genuinely hate the excuse because I think it has no grounds. I think it's invalid and I just think it's stupid. Either way, back to Gabbie and Gabbie only. What I'm trying to highlight here simply is the multidimensional hypocrisy of Gabbie Hanna. The multidimensional hypocrisy of her behavior, her words, her actions in this situation and many, many more. The internet manipulates and gaslights Gabbie Hanna, but Gabbie Hanna has done the same thing. The internet doesn't treat Gabbie as a human being with feelings and emotions that deserves respect. Gabbie has treated people the exact same way. Gabbie Hanna's mental health is something to respect and have compassion for, but Gabbie didn't have any respect or compassion for Jessie's, and also so many other creators and individuals and fans. Gabbie thinks it's scary that people are publicly broadcasting private information and private issues, yet she broadcast inappropriately to a minor details about the downfall of her friendship with Jessi, as well as Jessie's mental health journey. So why would the internet hate this? Or hate a creator who constantly displays these characteristics? Especially because this is not the first or only time that Gabbie Hanna has been called out for forgetting the power in her platform and being toxic towards her fans in private sections of the internet, whether it's DMs or a private and closed Discord. Either way, it's inappropriate. But for someone who has this level of hypocrisy, there has to be a reason why. From my perspective, it either has to be an evil person, a delusional person, or a dumb person. The last two are similar, but they do have their differences. I honestly don't think that Gabbie's dumb. For her to be able to achieve all that she's achieved and to be able to achieve her level of success, there has to be some sort of level of decent intelligence there. I hope it isn't the first one, because what's the point? So in all honesty, I think Gabbie is so isolated and removed from the reality that she is in that she doesn't even realize it. And this has resulted in Gabbie's me versus the internet kind of mentality. Yes, I don't really know how to do these. Judge all you want. So many controversies with Gabbie's behaviour being the focal point have happened over the years. And for every single one of them, there have been a huge amount of channels and creators making videos giving valid critiques, valid criticisms for her awful behaviour. But what Gabbie lacks and what other creators seem to have and benefit from is friends. Yes, Gabbie does have friends, and she does have a loving boyfriend, and I love that for her. But there doesn't seem to be a single person on the internet who is in her corner. When some YouTubers have themselves in the middle of a controversy, they always have at least one other YouTuber in their corner acting almost like a character witness. Someone who is willing to risk their entire channel, their entire career, their entire subscribership, and trust in their subscribership to sit there and defend a person that they think is being cancelled for invalid reasons. James Charles had a handful of other creators when it came to the second Dramageddon being the Bi Sisters situation. With David Dobrik, other members of the Vlog Squad were making videos defending him. Shane Dawson resurrected the internet's opinions on Jeffree Star after his first docuseries with Jeffree Star. It's seen very frequently. Yet, where's Gabbie's? It's not like she hasn't collaborated with a huge amount of YouTubers in the past, so where are they? Gabbie specified in one of her podcasts that people don't want to risk their channels, careers, platforms to be associated with her. Others have been a lot more vocal in the fact that they either don't like Gabbie or they just don't trust Gabbie. One of the biggest controversies that acts as evidence for this point is the situation with Trisha Paytas last year. Last year, Trisha uploaded a video called Why I Don't Trust Gabbie Hanna. In this video, Trisha recounts the time that they found out that Gabbie went behind their back to tell their then sexual and romantic partner that they had herpes, which is false because Trisha didn't have herpes. So in regards to this situation, I'm not surprised that Trisha doesn't want to be associated with Gabbie because hot diggity damn, Gabbie's evidence was based off of hearsay. Oh, someone told me that Trisha did, but Trisha didn't. Gabbie's gone off at people before for basing their assumptions and accusations off of hearsay. Just saying. So with this very visible and public lack of people willing to support Gabbie, as well as a plethora of videos, channels, creators who are against Gabbie, this me against the internet mentality makes sense. Because legitimately, who is in Gabbie's corner? Who is hoping that she succeeds? Who is sitting there saying, hey, she's actually a really great, decent person? Except for fans. But with fans comes bias, so that just isn't good enough, unfortunately. These other people that I've mentioned in this video have gotten themselves into awful scandals, awful controversies, yet they still have people on the internet acting as their character witnesses. So they must be doing something right. If Gabbie has treated her friendships and her business relationships the same way that she has treated her former fans in DMs and Discords, the way that she's treated Trisha, the way that she's treated Jessi, then yeah, it would be exhausting. Like, I'm sorry that it's such a bitter pill to swallow, but at a certain point, the common denominator is Gabbie's behavior, Gabbie's words, Gabbie's hypocrisy. So in all of my research and me seeing Gabbie's me versus the internet mentality, I in all honesty think like, yeah, she's not wrong, but also this is the bed she made. As I said before, I don't think Gabbie's evil, and I don't think she's dumb. I, in all honesty, think that she doesn't even realize that this is the bed that she has made. I don't even think she thinks on a small basis that she helped make the bed. Heck, there's even a possibility that she thinks that everyone else made the bed and she's being forced to lie in it. But at some point, Gabbie actually did have friends, and very publicly too. After finding this lack of support for her now, I did go out with the aim to find a point in time where she did have genuine support. She did have public support from friends. She did have a public network of people behind her. And that's where I found something that is unfortunately going to make me a bit of a devil's advocate. But if I'm criticizing Gabbie so harshly, I cannot ignore the little nugget that I found and allow for it to be swept under the rug. Because regardless of my opinions of Gabbie and how awful I think her behavior has been and how awfully I think she has treated people, to not discuss this next point really doesn't sit right with me. So bear with me, there is a point. This group of friends I am talking about is of course the Vlog Squad, and the leader of the Vlog Squad being David Dobrik, who has recently got himself in an incredible amount of hot water. For multiple reasons at the moment, but that's a video I've already discussed. But from what I know and understand of the Vlog Squad, with all of the BS that has come out against David and the Vlog Squad recently, is that each member of the Vlog Squad has a specific part to play, has a specific character. You have the bong rat, the hot one, the other hot one, the hot criminal, the funny one, the other funny one, etc., etc. But it was Gabbie's character that made me quite uncomfortable, because regardless of if she's a good or a bad person, it's very interesting to see that Gabbie's character was the fat, ugly, annoying, unfunny one. This characterization, of course, was always presented as banter amongst friends. If you type into YouTube David Dobrik treating Gabbie Hanna like trash, a plethora of videos pop up. These videos compile a lot of words or actions either to Gabbie or about Gabbie, behind her back or to her face, by David or by the rest of the Vlog Squad. The issue with this is that my stance on fat and body shaming is that it's never okay. So regardless of who she is or who she was back then, I don't agree with the treatment that Gabbie received both on and possibly off camera by the Vlog Squad and by David. I understand that it was always banter amongst friends, but at the same time, those kinds of jokes after a while start to feel like perception. If every time I saw my friends, someone commented on how fat, ugly, unfunny, and annoying I was, after a while I would start to think, is that how they actually see me? But this characterization of Gabbie being public and mentioned any and every single time that she is on camera opens up the audience to see her as this too. To see her as this character as well. David and the other members of the Vlog Squad have made it okay to call Gabbie ugly, to call Gabbie fat, to call her annoying. David has made it public, okay, and fun to shame Gabbie for her personality and for her appearance. So because he's done that, he's opened up his audience to think that it is also fun, to think that it is also okay to shame Gabbie's personality and her appearance. And through all of my research, I have seen countless comments and videos giving valid critiques to Gabbie for her behavior, her actions, her words, her level of hypocrisy. But at the same time, these personality and body shaming comments and videos also still exist. I think that if she's being a terrible person, call her out for being a terrible person. If she's being a toxic person, call her out for being a toxic person. Do it. Give her the valid critiques. But don't criticize her body. Don't criticize her level of external beauty, because it's just dumb. It's just stupid. It's unnecessary, and it actually has the potential to undermine all the valid critiques that she's getting about her toxic behavior. And after 6 years of receiving body and external beauty shaming comments and videos, of course you get sick of it. Like, she claps back and stands up for herself like, heck yeah, I'm not surprised. She deserves to be critiqued. She deserves the criticism for her toxic behavior, but she doesn't deserve it for her body. She doesn't deserve it for her face. She doesn't deserve any of that. No one does. But also, if people out there share similar features to Gabbie, whether it's face or body, you're also calling them ugly? I'm not saying that every creator or person who has made a negative comment or video about Gabbie has been making these shaming comments. I'm just saying that I've seen them, they exist, and I don't stand by them. But in saying all of this and mentioning the vlog squad and bringing up the treatment of Gabbie Hanna in the vlog squad, I think we can all agree that dealing with toxic friends is a universally understood pain. I know that I personally have dealt with my fair share of terrible toxic friends, but that doesn't mean that you get to turn around and treat people with the same level of kindness that your toxic friends have shown you, without suffering any of the consequences, which once again cycles back to the multi-dimensional hypocrisy that is Gabbie Hanna. Maybe not in those exact words, but definitely with the same intention, point, and meaning. Bad things happen and they suck major ass, but that doesn't mean that you get to use that as an excuse for your awful behavior. But Gabbie still uses it as an excuse. She seems to pick and choose when and where her best points suit her best, as either an offense or a defense, therefore weaponizing her mental health and the bad things that have happened to her. Which I don't think I have to ask the question, but why wouldn't the internet hate that? We're getting to a point in society, from my perspective at least, where I think that we are having a great deal of more open, constructive conversations about mental health. There's more acceptance, understanding, and resources to help people than I think there has ever been before. So with a creator like Gabbie Hanna, she's picking for her mental health to either be her shield or her sword when it suits her best. And this is of course going to be extremely abrasive to the internet and to the creators who have a decent understanding or a personal understanding of mental illness and how much of a daily struggle mental illness is. Gabbie has had a lot of shit thrown at her for absolutely no reason. I get it. But that doesn't justify her actions and her words, and maybe she should manage her expectations. Ultimately, the reason why I found this video so uncomfortable to research is because when I see Gabbie today, I see pain. I see a person who is in a lot of pain and is just trying to ignore it all. To me, a good person doesn't have to preach about how good a person they are. It's shown in their words and their actions. To me, a happy person doesn't have to preach about how happy they are, how chill their life is, how awesome it is. Oh my gosh. To me, a drama-free person doesn't have to preach about how hard they're trying to constantly avoid being in the middle of drama, which Gabbie does a lot of all three. And to be constantly preaching about how good a person you are, how drama-free you are, how happy you are, for an outsider, it seems that she's trying to convince someone. Is she trying to convince the internet? Is she trying to convince herself? Unfortunately, even though I can see where a lot of her mentality comes from, I'm just not convinced. I think that there has been a lot of toxic petty BS thrown and aimed at Gabbie over the years on the internet, and I don't stand by any of that. But at the same time, Gabbie very, very rarely takes full accountability for her toxic petty BS that she has put out there on the internet, either to an individual or a group, whether it's a friend, a fan, another creator, without making any kind of excuses. There is a big difference between explanations and excuses, but unfortunately, time and time again, when Gabbie is addressing the controversy that she is the focal point of, she is presenting these explanations as excuses. And a good, happy, chill, drama-free kind of person typically doesn't have to make excuses, doesn't have to make explanations, doesn't have to take accountability, because typically there would be nothing to make an excuse, an explanation, or take accountability for. But why does the internet hate Gabbie Hanna? As I said before, to be simply put, hypocrisy. When I initially started researching for this video, as I said in the beginning of the video, I initially wanted to make a history of video so that I could be as unbiased as possible when trying to figure out the answer to my question, why does the internet hate Gabbie Hanna? And to be unbiased with this topic, I thought it would be relatively easy, considering I had no idea what was going on. I had little to no context as to who Gabbie Hanna is, so really, how could I have an opinion on her? So it would be easy, right? As I really got into it, really got into the research, and got so deep that I, in all honesty, had no idea how to turn back. I found myself getting frustrated and angry and just emotionally exhausted and drained, to the point where I, in all honesty, rewrote my notes 5 times, because being unbiased in this video would be a lie and I would be an absolute fraud, because I can't support a person with this level of hypocrisy, this lack of respect when it comes to boundaries that don't even really need to be stated when it comes to communicating to fans or about mental health. And by being unbiased and presenting this video as unbiased, I'm supporting by omission. Instead of lying by omission, it's supporting by omission. By not calling out the toxic BS behavior, I'm supporting it. I think over the years, Gabbie has been an incredibly toxic person. And in all honesty, I think she should take a break from the internet so that she can stop this toxic cycle that she is in the middle of. This cycle being that she is the focal point of a controversy. Videos are made about the controversy and about her, giving her valid criticism and valid critique. She makes excuses and accuses people who have made negative comments or videos about her controversy and about her of having toxic behavior, and by posting them, they are toxic themselves, even though the controversy that she got into is because of her toxic behavior. Thus, more videos get made about how she isn't taking accountability and being even more toxic, and how she doesn't understand that she was toxic in the first place. So, like, it makes sense in my head, but I don't think I'm communicating it. She's apologized for the same behavior over and over again, and yet she just isn't learning from it. But at the same time, I think genuinely, very, very, very deep down, Gabbie does have the potential to be a good creator and to be a decent influence on the internet and for her fans, to be a good role model. But for the last few years and right now, she just isn't, for all of the reasons that I've stated in this video, which is why I hope she takes some time off the internet so that she can potentially break this toxic cycle, so that she can potentially understand everything that the internet has been trying to tell her for the last few years. Not the vlog squad stuff, because I'm pretty sure she's aware that they were trash to her, but all of the valid criticism and critique about her character and about her hypocrisy. But right now, her influence, her platform is just a lot of wasted potential. But if somehow she manages to break this toxic cycle, recognize, understand the valid criticisms and critiques she is getting on the internet, maybe she can actually be the person that she is preaching that she is. But that is everything. All my thoughts, opinions in one neat but messy little package. I genuinely wasn't expecting this when I started researching this video. I wasn't expecting it because, in all honesty, I thought before I went into this that the internet could just possibly be being a dick. I'm not gonna lie, I thought that was a possibility because all I knew about Gabbie Hanna was like the maybe 5 videos of hers that I watched. And they were fine. It wasn't really my style of content that I like to watch, but I could see how other people would enjoy it. So I was like, yeah, it's fine content. She seems to be doing well. Good job, her. So apart from those 5 videos and the Kenza brushes scandal that she was in a few years ago, that's all I knew about her. So I was like, oh, how bad could this person be? From what I knew, like, what could she have possibly done for the internet to hate her? And then I started researching and I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. But tell me what you think of everything that I've discussed in this video, because genuinely, I want to hear your thoughts and opinions. I want to know your perspective because I love learning. I love learning. It's why I love this kind of content so much, because I genuinely love researching, because I love to know everything about the world that I'm living in. And if there's somehow a pocket in my knowledge, a pocket in my understanding, I want to fill that pocket. I don't want no Swiss cheese brain. I want some brie cheese brain. I just said that. Okay. I'm lactose intolerant. Oh, but genuinely, reading your comments and your thoughts and your perspectives and your opinions is how I learn sometimes. It is how I evolve and educate myself on different thoughts, opinions, and ideas. And I do read every single one of my comments, which is why today we are rocking the straight hair, because I did get, I think, about 2 or 3 comments asking if I could do straight hair for a video because they wanted to see what I look like with straight hair. Here she is. Here she is, savor this moment, never happening again, I hate it. But also, why my face is looking like this, all kinds of luscious. Because I had a few comments being like, ooh, I would love to see a split look from you. So we got some day, and we got some night, and I think she's kind of cute. I love the clouds. The clouds are definitely my favorite part. The moon, I did the stupid thing. It's the thing that you shouldn't do with eyeliner. If you're doing eyeliner or any kind of like imagery on your eyes, what you don't want to do is like to lift up your eye, because as soon as you drop it, it goes to a different position, and that's how the moon is looking a little bit. Look, she matches my spine. Scoliosis. Once again, I feel powerful right now. I feel just fight me. Fight me. This is my armor. This is my armor. This is my shield. This is my sword. Fight me. Fight me. I've had like 5 cups of coffee right now. I wouldn't do it. And another good bit of news, because I know I scared a few of you in my last video. I bought a new straightener because everyone kept being like, JJ, no! When I mentioned that the handle of my curler was melting. So I was a big girl. Hello, self-preservation. But also let me know down in the comments what you want me to talk about, because maybe there's something that I missed. Maybe there's a little nugget on the internet that I haven't seen yet that you think I might enjoy researching and have fun researching. So let me know that. Let me know what you think of the video. Let me know what you think of my face. My gorgeous, gorgeous face. And I hope that you are just having a fantastic day, a fantastic week, a fantastic month, a fantastic year. And I hope that you are doing as fantastic as always. Bye everyone. Woo!